Brace yourself.
The consumption stories to hold retail is definitely going to grow.
For every price, there is a buyer.
Office buildings, coming out to be communities and giving that experience as soon as you walk inside.
India is still a very value conscious market.
Data has obviously kind of transformed real estate decision making.
15 years back, there wasn't real data as such. So it was more of intuition, less of data.
You were not expecting it and it has surprised you.
You have changed the way you live suddenly.
Hello and a very warm welcome to another episode of Brick by Brick, a podcast series where we speak to our leaders who are change makers in the real estate industry to understand insightful changes which are happening in our industry. I'm Aashreen Puri, and to join me in today's episode, I have Shweta, our head of corporate marketing, to be a part of this entire episode.
Thank you so much, Aashreen. It's a pleasure to co-host this podcast series with you, and I look forward to a very insightful conversation with our guest today.
It's wonderful to have you on the podcast, Shweta. I will let you lead the podcast. I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Today, we are joined by two industry veterans whose insights have been shaping the real estate decisions in India. Our first guest today is Mr. Ashutosh Limaye, who is the Joint Managing Director of Anarock Strategic Advisory and Valuations. Joining him is Pankaj Renjhen, who is the Managing Director of Anarock Retail Business. Hi Ashutosh. Hi Pankaj. Welcome to this podcast series. First question to you, Ashutosh, is that you have been in the industry for a long time. I think it's like more than 2 decades, right?
Around that much, yes.
Yeah. So what are the changes that you witnessed, say, for example, 10 years earlier, and how is the Indian real estate now?
Oh, a lot of changes, and I would love to place it under the 4 Ps. The product, the first P, it has evolved a lot, higher specs, better efficiency, more integrated with systems. Second P, I would say places. More and more cities, towns are coming into the mainstream of real estate. Third P would be players. More and more developers are coming up, more and more corporate players are coming up. So the size of players has increased. And fourth P, I would say process. Rather than a family driven kind of a business, it's now more corporate governance, more structured, processes are in place. So I would say over the last 10-20 years, these 4 major changes which has moved it more towards the matured market status.
So coming to you, Pankaj, retail was a sector which was most disrupted during the pandemic, right? And we had never expected that it will come back, bounce back to this level. Pandemic had just given it a complete turnaround. So where do you see there is a structural change?
See, the structural change is very fun. One is it's basically fundamental to and connected to the basic ethos of where our country is today. We have a very young aspirational population. A large part of our population is below 35. And the whole story about India is it's a consuming country, right? Because of this population. If the consumption story is to hold retail is definitely going to grow. When we look at retail, real estate per se as well, it's what we call is a more structured asset class, which is fueling this demand. Retail real estate is only the infrastructure which is being built in the others. The post-pandemic era is this just been a change, is that there has been a consumer's side which is saying, listen, we want to go and spend better. We want better experiences. From the real estate developer side, they're creating a lot more experiences per se. So the whole ecosystem is being developed is around experiences, individuality, and consuming more.
I think it's also about, not about the spending habits that have changed, but also about how people are just gelling with this trend of, ordering in 10 minutes or getting that experiences and everything. Ashutosh, do you see there is a change in how people think, how people spend, and how real estate is perceived?
Trend is that people are now much more equipped with information, and that is one more structural change, I would say. Because when RERA came in about 10 years back, it opened up doors of information to everybody. So I think that has helped a lot. Also the exposure and access to information and what's happening around us. With that, people are thinking more, they are experimenting more, and they are more flexible. Their expectations from real estate also have changed. So the earlier thought of एक बार ले लिया so life के लिए, it's not like that anymore. Every now and then they wish to upgrade, they wish to alter, they wish to try out new things, which allows a variety within real estate.
Which are the cities you think are going to emerge as the biggest real estate growth stories in the next decade or so?
Oh, it is across length and breadth, I would say. See, now the census is happening. The last census that was done was way back in 2011. And that time India had 53 cities with a million plus population.
Yeah.
I'm sure that number could cross 100 now because it's about 15-16 years now since the last census. So in terms of volume, I think the state capitals, the district capitals, that will lead the volume of real estate. And when it comes to the top cities, Mumbai metro area, Delhi NCR, Bangalore, they would lead the real estate market in terms of value, because that's where experiences matter more, higher specs, more sophistication, the land is scarce. So by value, I would say these three top cities, and by volume, I think it's the entire canvas of the country.
Is India becoming one of the world's most attractive luxury retail markets?
Disagree with the fact that India is a very attractive destination for luxury. India is a very value conscious market, right? Indians are very value seekers at every price point, whether we are buying the most expensive car, or whether we're buying a mid-size car, or we're buying consuming expensive goods, or the mid-size or a middle market as well. One majority of the bulk which is consuming is what we call is the burgeoning middle class. So it's really the upper middle class, the middle class, and the lower middle class. And actually the transition which is really happening is between the lower middle class to the middle class. Luxury is really at the top end of the market, and I think that customer is a very discerning customer. That customer has a world to open to itself, to go and shop anywhere in the world. Anyways travels a lot. Today, you look at one of the biggest spends for any part of the country, in whether it's upper middle class, middle class, or the rich class. Travel has become a very big thing as well.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't think the ecosystem really exists for India, which is there. Secondly, I think the fancy for the luxury brands is still limited in India, because the fact is that, as I said, India is still a very value conscious market. When you look at upper middle class or a middle class, which is the bulk of the market, is spending. When you look at their wallet share of their consumption, they have a lot of spend to do on their daily lifestyle to live. The disposable income, which is discretionary, spent out is limited. Today, that discretionary income is being spent and saying, I would enjoy more or spend more on better goods, but does not mean that I'm going to buy a very, very high aspirational good and buy a luxury bag or a luxury, a luxury shirt or the others. Today, in fact, the younger consumer is saying that, listen, I want more, because probably his Instagram.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be seen repeating the same shirt every day, right? Every time. So it's not that he will probably go and spend. That's why you see the rise of so many D2C brands. So luxury in India, I would still say is a very, very small market. There are some elements out of it which will do extremely well, are doing well. Example, watches. Mobile phone, if you consider it a luxury in the top end of the market. Beauty and cosmetics is something which is going towards very premiumization and luxury, because one, it's more affordable, and I think everybody wants to look good as well, right? So a lot about those. I think it's less about bags and fashion. It's a lot about beauty, cosmetics, and accessories per se as well, yeah.
We talk a lot about luxury being associated with experiences also. But do you think that, experience is more valuable versus a product?
100%. Today, the way you look at houses being sold today, or you look at even office spaces being there, the whole thing is, the developer of real estate per se is creating an experience for the customer to come.
Yeah.
Right? The whole arrival experience. How many a couple of years back, and Ashutosh would agree with me, office amenities were just saying, okay, let's provide a gym and provide a coffee shop, right? Today, I think a lot of the time the developers are really thinking through in real estate, which has changed, and we've seen is a changes happening. Office buildings today are community spaces. These are not office spaces anymore. These are community spaces, because a large part of our lives of the consumer of their office space, which is the companies who their employees are spending their lives there. So you need to provide a lot more ecosystem to them.
And there's a lot of sense of pride also, I see, like you rightly mentioned, office buildings, coming out to be communities, giving that experience as soon as you walk inside.
Yeah.
So people feel a sense of pride that I'm working in so-and-so building.
Yeah, I'm working in this building. And secondly, like, there's a certain sense of expectation because I want that facility to be there. I want better, I want an option of a better coffee as well if I want to go down to. So the consumer is a very well evolved customer. So in every aspect, whether it's retail or any other real estate asset class, the consumer is looking for something which is much more from his money.
I think providing for experience used to be a good to have feature. Now it's a must have feature.
So what trends do you think that, developers or in that matter, investors also should be preparing for the next 5 or 10 years?
Infrastructure is happening big time. I think India is not that well known to deliver on time when it comes to infrastructure projects, but we are improving on that. And what infrastructure is doing, it is opening up a lot of land in the periphery, and it is increasing the potential of land within the city, because now you have a more efficient infrastructure getting laid up and kind of upgraded. So with a lot more land getting opened up in the peripheries, one can create communities, one can create townships. So that is something that is to look out for. Also, I think rental housing is something that in India it is highly fragmented, unorganized, but I see that getting structured, more organized. And for developers or for landlords, everybody or investors for that matter, when it comes to exiting the investment, if the investment size is smaller, let's say for commercial building under 500 crores or something like that, then small and medium REITs, the SM REITs as they are called, SEBI has allowed them to come in. The structure is there. First couple of SM REITs are announced. So I would place that as one of the trends to watch out for. So infra opening up new land, rental housing, and SM REITs.
Okay. So any other trend, this is for something you mentioned, this is something which is upcoming, right? Any other trend that you see is being underestimated or overlooked?
I think I would say the coming back of one bedroom hall kitchen houses or smaller houses, condos, studio apartments, self-sufficient smaller places. Because see, India is going the nuclear family way.
Yeah.
The household size is shrinking. At the same time, the senior citizens are wanting to live independent life. So they don't want really to get tagged along. They want to be close to the family, but yet independent. So a smaller house works well for them. Also the upwardly mobile people, there is a lot of urbanization happening, migration happening. So smaller houses which become the entry level purchases for most couples who have just started their families. That is something I think it follows a certain cycle.
Yeah.
I think that is something which is getting overlooked, but it should come back.
Pankaj, what is the difference or what is the new change that you are seeing or expecting in the mall culture today?
Malls kind of play a very critical role in bringing a community or an ecosystem of where they are, and there is a circle of influences about, I would say, between 20 to 25 minutes drive time to about 30 minutes drive time. They're not going to be the cookie cutter malls and saying, place, make a big structure, put some brands in, and it'll work. No, it is about understanding that each micro market, what is that consumer in that micro market aspiring for? What does that need, and how that micro market is going to change with the change in infrastructure, where the circum-influence is going to change. North Bangalore is not going to be the same as, probably the south of Bangalore per se. Sky City Borivali is influenced a lot by the people who live around there.
Yeah.
What they do is the culture of the people there is spending a lot more on gold. It's vegetarian. They are more aspirational, but they are more value seekers. Whereas the South Mumbai is well established, knows the customer, knows what he or she wants when he walks in, is willing to try a lot more, and is very, very experimental per se as well.
Agree, yeah.
So it's just the ecosystem of a mall is going to be about where it is situated and how does it cater to that 25 minutes of drive time influence.
There's a lot of talk about, technology coming into all the sectors, and real estate is not spared also. What is the kind of, one change that you are expecting that will come in the retail segment.
One big change has already happened in consumer side is there is a lot of categories of consumer spending which has changed, which has gone digital for that matter, and technology has overtaken that. We've seen grocery, we saw partly entertainment, which is consuming simple entertainment of watching movies or any kind of entertainment you're consuming per se as well. I think what the technology will play in the future will be a lot more first is how we operate and run these assets. Whether it's all the buildings which we run, whether it's the office buildings, retail, residential, it will be a lot more technology and more intelligent. From the back end, which is the non-consumer facing, which will be operations, will get a lot more technology, will get invested. On the front line, it will be all about creating experiences again. You'll be able to provide data to your retailers and your consumers in terms of opportunities which they have from what the customer is looking at. Simple things like wayfinding, right? Today, you typically go to a parking lot. Sometimes you forget where you parked your car. And it's a simple solution which wayfinding has been done, that you can typically know where exactly a car is parked, or it'll become automated wherein the robot will get your car because the parking systems will be there, that it gets, instead of a valet, the car will come and get dropped to you. You know, I was just watching this movie called Devil Wears Prada 2, right? Anna Hathaway picked up a bag which she was wearing, and it was all over the internet, and suddenly that bag has become so big, and it's called JW Pie, which nobody even knew about in New York. Right? So today the customer is saying, listen, you sitting in India know about a bag, high street brand out of New York, which nobody had heard about it, and Anna Hathaway had done it, and it's all over your Instagram. The customer has got the information. Now it's about the retailer, how is using that intelligence to use technology to provide you that.
Both of you all have witnessed the journey of Anarock together. You all have, seen it from where it started, the previous years of, the formative years of it, and versus where it is right now. What do you think the organization has that is so unique that we are able to offer?
Anarock will always be at the cusp of being a little ahead of the market in terms of whether it's adoption of new services, finding a play and experimenting as well. I'm sure we will fail and falter at some things as well, and some businesses may not stack up the way we would do. But I think the fact of the matter is you don't have to make it 100% work. It can never make 100%. I think the 70% of the bets work. That's the best what you want. Rest, I think, compared to the market and maybe the peers per se as well, when I look at it, they are more complacent and they're more standardized because they put people in boxes. I think Anarock is a place where we don't put people in boxes. As somebody I hired a couple of years back, and she came from a competition, and she said very nice thing. She says, in Anarock there's a buffet. And it's up to you what you want to eat and out of that spread. So I think that's what we offer. We offer the buffet and the spread. It's up to you what's your appetite, how much you want to eat, and how much you want to grab. And if you are really hungry, nobody's questioning and looking at your plate that are you eating more. So I think that's what it is.
In fact, two things I think, and Pankaj mentioned those. One is about the freedom. You get to do a lot. Only thing is one has to use it responsibly. And second is you are allowed to fail so far as you are experimenting, you are testing, you are giving your best and your 100%.
Yeah.
I think this is something that I don't think many other places offer.
No, I wouldn't agree more to that.
Yeah. Today, data has obviously kind of transformed real estate decision making, right? How much do you see that transformation really helping and evolving us?
15 years back, there wasn't real data as such, so it was more of intuition, less of data. Then a phase came where data started becoming available to the masses, to everybody. Then it was more like, okay, data is saying so let's do that. Simple. Now the data is all over. There is so much of data, so many layers to it, so many disclaimers and caveats to it. It is becoming confusing. So I would say 80% data, 20% intuition.
How do you think the role of advisory has moved or evolved beyond the traditional broking system?
The basic ethos of advisory is always about trust. The clients whom we work for, whether it's a developer clients or the occupier clients where we work for, I think as long as you're able to build trust, the advisor's role continues to be very strengthened. Why would clients rely on you is because of the trust and the connection factor with them. That connection factor is not going to go away.
Aashreen and I just thought, we've had a lot of serious discussion about the industry, about the trends, and also she was like, let's have a quick, fun, rapid fire
We
with
do
both
this
of you.
with most of our guests, so brace yourselves.
Let's see what surprises
up
it
to you,
is.
Aashreen.
One word, one sentence that comes into mind. Okay, I'll start with you, Ashutosh. One city you're most bullish about.
It will be Pune, right balance between the cost of living and quality of life.
Okay, are you from Pune?
I spent my childhood there.
Ah, okay, very nice. Residential, office, or retail?
Residential, that's where the home is
Yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah. Okay, a real estate trend everyone should watch out for.
I think real estate for expiry date, not for life. So brace for changes.
Okay, interesting. A market myth you would like to bust.
We think at this price, who will buy? The reality is for every price there is a buyer.
Yeah. Okay. One word to describe Indian real estate in 2026.
Needs to be reasonable.
Correct. Data or intuition? I think you answered this, but
Yeah, I would say 80-20 rule, 80% data, 20% intuition.
okay. What excites you the most about the future of Anarock?
Oh, I think this is opportunity to contribute in what nation is building. I think we are an integral part, and that satisfies me the most.
Okay. And lastly, one book you would recommend to every leader to read.
Oh, I think it's classical again. The Bhagavad Gita. I think it's timeless classic.
Yeah, I wouldn't agree more.
All right. So, Pankaj, mall or high street?
High street,
Luxury or value retail?
value retail.
One international retail market that India can learn from?
I would say Thailand, Bangkok, the malls on Sukhumvit.
Okay. A brand you admire?
Apple,
A consumer trend that surprises you, you were not expecting it and it has surprised you?
I think the grocery shopping. You have changed the way you live suddenly.
It's a lifestyle shift.
It's a
also.
completely lifestyle change, and that's a seismic shift which is going to happen, which is going to define the way we live.
Just one word to define India's real, estate, the retail future of India's real estate.
Aspirational.
We wanted to kind of deep dive in your personal aspects a little bit more. We've done, the work that you've done. We've spoken a little bit about the real estate industry. For you, if you were not in the real estate industry, what profession would you choose? Either one of you all can answer.
I will be a teacher.
A teacher? Oh, how come?
It comes in the DNA. Both my
Yeah.
parents were, and I like to explain. I like the other person to grow. I think
Yeah.
teaching allows a person
Yeah.
to help other person grow.
Yeah, interesting.
I think I would be doing anything which is around people, because I firmly believe that I love working with people. I'm not an individualistic contributor. So anything which has got a larger set of people and teams, I would do something around that. And I definitely be in the corporate world.
If you could have coffee with one global leader, who would it be?
Opportunity missed though for me, but it would be the later Mr. Ratan Tata for me.
Yes, that's a good one.
I think from the Blackstone founder, Stephen Schwarzman, I think he would be somebody I would definitely, because I feel he's probably one of the only leaders, and I read his autobiography as well. And I've seen the way Blackstone has invested in India. I think somebody who's willing to take very forward bets, much before, and very aggressive bets contrary to the market, because he's looking at the basic fundamentals and ethos and not looking at the noise around you. That's most important.
One thing your colleague would say about you.
Nice questions you got. I'm sure they would say, "Hey, I should celebrate more."
Yeah,
I think that's the one. I need to do that.
yeah, yeah.
Dependable or trustworthy? I hope so. I hope so.
Okay, Pankaj, one hidden talent that we don't know about you.
I don't know what's the hidden talent.
Even I don't know.
You and I probably would have to really think about. It's tough. Yeah, I don't know whether we get enough to do to discover our talents, and
By the time you discover, I've thought of hidden talent for myself.
Yeah,
So it's about knowing and remembering apparently useless things and facts and stuff like that, but they're not useless. They come handy when the time comes. So I know a lot about cultures,
Yes.
civilizations, people, languages, and all that. So it's all junk for most part of the time, but when it has to click, it clicks from there.
Yeah. And I
So
think
it's- yeah.
honestly, genuinely, I think it's not at all useless because in real estate, it's like Pankaj said, right? It's a people-driven business, and people are all about connecting. You know, whether it's emotionally
Yeah.
on a topic or whether it is, you know, on a culture or art or whatever. So I've also seen that sometimes you can connect with people just on a painting. You
Oh,
know?
yeah, yeah,
So
well said.
it really makes a difference.
I think Pankaj must have thought by now.
No, I'm just still thinking probably for my next podcast, I'll have to be ready with this one.
All right. So thank you, Ashutosh and Pankaj, for sharing your insights. And it was a really, really very nice conversation.
Thank
Absolutely
you.
delighted.
Thank you for being on the episode of Brick by Brick. And if you enjoyed, we will be happy that you can like, share, and subscribe to Anarock's podcast channel.
Thank
you so much. Pleasure.
Had a lovely time.
It was a pleasure sitting with three of you and having this chat.
Thank you so
Something which is very good breakaway from what we normally do.
Yeah.
Yeah.